And
Hang
again,
on, wait till it says go.
oh,
Okay, now.
I'm Liz Atherton, clearly not experienced at how to record Zooms, but thankfully Bev is. And a huge, great thank you to Bev Standing, who reached out last night as a friend and a coworker and all that kind of good stuff to offer up this water cooler. And then for all of you guys that didn't know about it beforehand, I appreciate you joining us. I'm Liz Atherton. I was the founder of the Atherton Group Tag Talent Agency. I had a great deal of success with that, thankfully, to the people that worked with me, which were Jimmy, I'm drawing a Jimmy, why am I Cobble? Gosh, I couldn't remember his name. You can tell it's been a long day. It's 10. Anyway, so Jimmy Cobble and Jorge Elizondo. 3 years ago, right after the voiceover tsunami, and I don't want to go through all of that, but there was a big voiceover tsunami in August of 2017. Nick and I had already been working on a program for casting, an online casting platform. And by the grace of God, and I want to give kudos to Jay Michael for inviting me to speak at this wonderful event at the JMC Euro Retreats in Barcelona. I met Bobby and Elizabeth Alcott, and Nick and I literally were just about to throw up our hands and breathe. And these two amazing human beings jumped in our vision and made it possible. And not only are they just awesome people, they are smart and learned and brought a marketing and a happy vibe to the entire team. Nick and I have had the good fortune of working with them and other companies that we've hired and whatnot. So we get to today. And wait a minute, let me introduce, since Bobby's here. Bobby, I'm going to toss it to you to jump in for a few minutes. Meet Bobby Alcott. He is, what's your title? You can tell him.
I think I'm mascot.
Mascot works.
I think officially. Everything she just said was true. Amazing, Liz. Well done. Kidding. It really was kind of an amazing stroke of fate to meet Liz in Barcelona at J. Michael's retreat. And when we heard Liz talk about what their vision was for CastVoices, there was no way we couldn't jump in. So we were just at the right place at the right time, serendipity, whatever you want to call it. But my wife and I have been on this with Liz and Nick now full-time for 18 months, and we are right at the finish line and beyond excited to bring this to the VO community. So we launched our Indiegogo campaign this morning. Hopefully you guys will all be able to see it. And I know Liz is going to talk a little bit about that. This has just been literally one of the privileges and the joys of our life. And it's going to be a massive, massive part of our future going forward. So, yeah.
Yay. Thank you, Bobby. Yay, yay, yay. All right. So CastVoices, the reason we're doing the Indiegogo campaign is it's just about time to populate the database. You want to populate your database before you open it up to casting, because wouldn't it be a tragedy for casting to go post a project and there's 3 people on the platform? Well, no, that would be icky. And we're funded, guys. Things are wonderful behind the scenes. So this isn't an attempt to go build a coffer of money. This is an opportunity that if you subscribe now, it's all transparent. You can see how many people subscribe and at what levels. There's nothing to hide when it's out there. And you can see that we're going to take 50%, or not 50%, but we're going to take a portion. And if you look in the Indiegogo, of those donations. So if you subscribe at the 150 yearly rate, we're going to donate 50. If you subscribe at the 250, which I think is the best rate, we're going to donate 100. So we're donating, and then agents, we have a program for them as well. We're donating a good portion of this, and you can see it there. And also, CastVoices isn't programmed to do this kind of stuff. So that's why we did it on Indiegogo. And if you choose to subscribe, and don't feel like you got to, but if you do choose to subscribe, that's how the money is going to be dispersed. And we're going to disperse that money on March 20th, which will be our public coming out party. And but the reason we backed up to this date is because we wanted the Indiegogo to run about 30 days. We're going to end on February 28th. Spiritually, today's a very positive day. Y'all go out and look at your son and say thank you. That's a girly in me. And then that gives us we'll finalize it on the 28th. That gives us about 3 weeks, which is about what it takes to draw the funds. So, and then we're going to be presenting live checks. If you look, our two funds that we're donating to, one of them is the Soundbox group, chaired by Tim Freelander, who that whole group is just an amazing, they have just splashed goodness on our voiceover scene. And they have a fund that anybody can donate to. And if you guys want to do that directly, that's awesome too. And if you're a voiceover and you're in need, they help. And I just love the fact that they honor our community in that way. They don't challenge you on it. It's not intended for you to go buy a mic. It's intended if you really are in a dire way and you need help, they help. So we're donating 50% of our donatable funds there. And then we're donating 50% to Feeding America. As you can see behind me, these pretty boxes of food, I go to food banks on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I collect food, every Thursday morning, and it's out because, of course, I wanted to show it to you, but because I'm about to take it out, I take food to those people under the overpasses and things like that. Listen, I'm not going to judge why they're there, and I'm not going to judge whether or not you think they're an eyesore. I look at human beings who need to eat. And so we feel compelled as our group to do that for Feeding America. We wanted to pick a fund that goes out everywhere rather than just in my backyard. And so that's why we're doing it. There. CastVoices is an online casting platform. Where we think we're different than the other online casting platforms is that we tried to keep it affordable. And two, we came at it from the point of view of the talent. And so, and if you hear banging behind me, that is my dog. It's not, anyway, it's an online, we gave you a very enhanced profile. And so if you come in at the standard, and y'all, you can look on our Indiegogo link and it lists those, and it's much easier for me to just have you go there and look. It's perk number 1. Or actually, don't go to the perk, go down in the body of the Indiegogo, and it tells you what those features are. So and then in terms of casting, it's your standard. Well, it's not standard because we think we better. Y'all gonna have to excuse me just 1 minute. I have to go stop my dog or I will lose my mind because, oh, he stopped. Thank you. He's deaf, or I would just tell him. And so you get this beautiful platform, which you can tag your demos, you can share your stuff, you can invite your agents, they can get on there. If you upgrade to the 250, and I'm not here to sell you on upgrades, it's just a feature that I think is really cool. You can record a soundbite demo that everywhere your profile goes, that goes with you. We used to do those at the tag talent agency and call them tag tags. And they were just a feature where you can record, like this one we gave you up to 30 seconds, but you could record a little introduction. And one of my favorites was Susan Bennett. She said it all these cool ways. And it was like an introduction to who she was. But you get this enhanced profile. We protected the agent. I think that's important. And all of our projects that post are completely transparent. There's nothing to hide, right? Monies are sown. We don't charge project managers to put them on there, but they go to your agent and they've got all sorts of ways that can get that information out to you. And then all those files, instead of saving them on laptops here, and they're all saved on our platform, which makes it much easier for you and your space. We've got lots of it. And then all your auditions are tracked. And then any of your bookings, I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but I'm trying to express this. Any of your bookings, you can put your data in your resume, and it'll, for the upgraded versions, it'll prompt you, hey, your booking is either you need to look for a rebuy or a release, right? So it prompts you, hey, this buy that you said ends in December of 2021 is dying or coming up either for buy or you can get a prompt for that. So we're kind of built some tools in there. And remember, this is just our MVP, our minimal viable product. We have what we call the TV, and the TV has all these must goes for our next round of goodness. And
that's a TV is actually quite literally a TV covered in post-it notes with future features that I am to develop.
Hey guys, sorry, Nick, I didn't see you because I was just so enthralled watching myself move.
I was enthralled watching you move too. What a coinky-dink.
What can I say, man? Animation and me, we go hand in hand. Guys, please meet our CTO and awesome dude, Nick Krause.
Hi guys.
He is one of the smartest human beings I've ever met, and he's an actor, and he's a voiceover dude, and he's brilliant. And so when I tell you we have built this from the point of view of the actor, I have Mr. CTO over here to thank for that. He changed how we rearranged everything. He's just brought, I mean, CastVoices is CastVoices because of Nick. So, baboom.
Oh, thanks. Oh man.
You're supposed to talk here.
Yeah, no. Hey guys, I'm glad to be here. I was just listening to a pretty good rundown of the features of the site. I do apologize for how pale I am here. It's not makeup. It's just been so long since I've seen the sun. I've become the sun itself. Yeah, we've been going through. Well, Liz and I have been working on CastVoices forever, many years. The development is been going on for about the past year, a little bit longer. Where we're really excited about what we're going to be able to do for people. This whole time through developing the site, Liz is right. It has been coming from the POV of an actor, and I've been trying to think of what is the most useful to actors that that are like me and that aren't like me. Actors in every situation. So when we've gone through the features, we've really tried to put the focus on making life easier for the talent, making life cheaper for the talent. And trying to get the entire casting process kind of into our platform so it can be a one-stop shop. We know that that's not going to change that people have accounts in different places. We're just really hoping to, be one place where you can get all your answers, especially for stuff like booked through the platform.
Hey, Adam. Yeah. Sorry for interrupting you, Nick. But y'all, you got us all here because Elizabeth's off site. I mean, well, she's listening in. But hey, Adam, take a minute, will you, and introduce yourself?
You bet. I appreciate it. Apologies for being late. I hope everybody can hear the audio okay. I've been having some trouble on my side. So I'm Adam Creighton. I am a voice actor, business guy, video game industry, run a studio in Austin, Texas. And this team has been so generous to include me and get some input from me on the overall product and launch and service. Very excited about what this does and what this enables for the voice industry, for the acting industry. And I'm happy to be helping the team.
Hey, Adam, you're breaking up real bad for me. How about everybody else?
All right, hang on just a sec. Let me switch something.
All right, is this better?
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, I've got fighting audio stuff as I do a whole bunch of audio stuff right now. So let me do that again. I'm Adam Creighton. I am a voice actor. I'm a video game industry person. I own a studio in Austin, Texas. On the video game side of things, this team is a tremendous team. They've been generous to include me and get some input from me on the overall product and service. I'm happy to be helping out. Really appreciate everybody joining the call today and just getting a download on what's coming and how this is going to change the industry.
We're very excited to have Adam because aside from everything else, he's an advisor on our team technically, as well as he's got lots and lots of yummy connections, and we plan to take advantage of every one of them.
Absolutely.
So And I'll just leave it at that. So I think it's probably a good time now. I think we've given you an overview, and I really think we'll learn more by your questions. And so, Bev, if you could manage that, and if you have anybody in mind, if it's a technical question, you probably want to say, "Hey, Nick." If it's a voiceover or marketing or a gaming question, you can yell, I mean, you can say Liz, Bobby, or Adam, but that would help us in answering and help us hopefully from jumping all over each other. Hey, Dana. All right.
Yep, thanks, Liz. I'm going to say right now, Jim Cooper has said, I have a question. So Jim, if you want to unmute yourself and ask your question and address it to the appropriate individual, that'd be awesome.
Thanks. We just got a whole lot of information really quickly. And for those of us that are brand new to this whole concept, in 1 or 2 sentences, what is the business model of this? I'm trying to get a grasp on, okay, here's another casting site. Why, even as an agent or as a client, why would I come here instead of any of the other plethora of sites that are out there?
I'll take this one. I don't think it would be an instead of. I think it would be in addition to, okay. Because every site is going to have their sweet spot, and I don't want to say anything against that. We are also a platform. The presence that you get, the SEO that you get, the opportunities that you get to market yourself, we think are outstanding. But we're probably a little bit biased there. But I was an agent, and my connection lists are remarkable. And Nick is a somewhat known actor. His connection lists are remarkable. Adam has been working with casting directors at all the big old gaming places out there. I'll just kind of say that's kind of remarkable. So we're hoping that our product is easy for them to use. It is certainly free for them to use. We have built in what we believe are the right caveats that we can hopefully get SAG projects as well. So, and the archivability and refreshing of your resume and what you want to show and what you don't want to show. And eventually we're going to have groups and rooms, but you get all of that. And I mean, it's not your branding, but we have unique branding styles within CastVoices once you sign on that you can kind of, or if you upgrade, you can upload your own logos and stuff. Our intent is not for you to be out there hawking CastVoices. Our intent is for you to be out there hawking yourself. You'll know who we are if you want to play, and if and that's awesome, but we're not trying to say, hey, CastVoices and your name. It's like we want it to be in a way that it's as transparent as possible that it's you. And I hope I answered that question.
There's one other thing that I want to add on about our business model and how we bring in revenue. It is in no way marked around booking fees or audition fees. We do not charge for that stuff. I'm sure that Liz has iterated over this, at least once, but you do not have to pay to have the same access to all auditions on the platform on CastVoices as people who do pay for the fancier profiles. And what I mean by fancier profiles is you can pay a subscription to get more media on your profile. You can have access to a couple more aesthetic and bookkeeping features for yourself. But we do not charge for any kind of search ranking placement. We do not charge for any kind of access to auditions. We want all talent on the platform, no matter who they are, to have an equal foot on the playing field.
Thank you, Nick. That kind of focused on where I was going. Appreciate it. Great. Sounds great.
See why he's our dude? Yeah. I mean, seriously. And so, yeah, thank you.
Sorry, Liz, I'm just going to cut you. We have a lot of questions. So Dana Hurley, if you could unmute yourself. If you want to ask a question, just pop it in the chat and I'm writing your name down in order and we'll get to you.
Hey, Liz, congratulations. I know
Thank
it's been a long haul, so kudos to the team. We'll have the other site name be nameless at this point, but really overpromised a lot in terms of what was going to be offered and the amount of auditions and things like that. How are you guys going to avoid the same challenges and, you know, be able to market this and get the jobs that you want to?
Well, I can tell you first off, any features that we list that we have, they're really there. They come straight from the programmer. So we're not promising any more than we have there, but it's a lot. And you can read it. And once you sign on, you can see it. And if you know, I might got my hand slapped for this, but if you want to come on basic, which is, you know, everybody gets a basic. It is no charge to be in our basic, which gives you the same as Nick shared, same access to stuff. You want to test the waters, do what you got to do. But so I don't know that that's over promising. I don't know. I mean, it's just what you see is what you actually get. In terms of marketing for auditions and things like that, we have some in queue. Listen, Honest Engine. Oh, gosh, I hope that didn't come out wrong, because I didn't mean that bad. That's just an old saying. But in truth, our first offerings are, you know, they're people we know that we've called in favors. Of course they are, because we want this generation running. But we also have a plan, and I really don't want to talk about that, but I will tell you truthfully, it's there, of our first target market. And we have, because I don't want anybody else to jump our gun, but we are well equipped to make a really nice impact in that market. And, you know, price point's low. It's a low price point, and you can cancel, you know, so we're not asking for a great big chunk of money to up your ranking. We don't do that, you know. So our pro with all our bells and whistles is $250 a year, and you can also buy it monthly once we go live. So it's $25 a month. You know, you can test the waters yourself. And pardon me, our standard is $150 a year, or $15 a month. You know, so it's a small commitment to help move it along to become a really nice platform for everybody. And I mean, I'm not hoping, I think we've put the hooks in there. I mean, I'm an agent for 25 years. So the agent tool is it's not as robust as it will be, but it's robust enough for an MVP. And, you know, Nick, actor, and then Bobby, voiceover. We really, and Adam, voiceover, and Adam, technical. We got the, you know, and Elizabeth, the marketing. They have this lovely trifecta of a brain trust trying to help make it that. I hope I answered you, Dana. Awesome. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Dana. Thanks, Liz. Bobby Maxwell is next.
Hey, good morning, Liz. Sounds exciting.
Thank you.
I think that I signed up like 2 years ago at VO Atlanta. And I just want to make sure that, are we in there in like an initial sign up, or do we have to go in and just make a whole new profile and re-register? Does that make sense?
It does. It does. So, and that reminds me, if any of you were in our improv class, we had promised you a year pro. Please private message me so that I can remember, because I've reached out and haven't been able to get that list. And of course, I didn't expect it to take 2 years, but please reach out. If you have signed up, pre-registered on CastVoices.com, you are part of the public, which means once we go live, we will alert you first and let you know. But all you've put in there is your name and I think some contact. That information you will have to re-enter, because you are setting up your new profile on CastVoices. If you do this Indiegogo campaign that we have, you get notified first, and you get notified, and that notification may come 2 to 3 weeks. Well, it'll come before March 20th, because not only do you get to get on there first and populate first and all that kind of good stuff, you also get to tell us what is wrong. And so, you know, feature wise, I don't know that we can do much, but it would sure be nice to have you on there, and you're populating, and, you know, feedback is terrific from a group of people that, you know, are good. I hope that answered you.
Yes, thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Bobby. Amanda Brandt
Okay. Hi, good morning, everybody. I have a couple of quick questions for you guys. Is there a PowerPoint presentation that maybe you could share to have a breakdown between what your service and platform offers versus the competitor? Also, I actually have a slew of questions here. How long has this concept been developing? Bobby had mentioned she signed up prior to, and I would like to know when exactly that was and what the experience has been like.
I'll take this one too, guys, and y'all can jump in. And I mean, no disrespect. I'm not going to put a PowerPoint together that compares me to others. And I don't mean that mean. We have a reference table, but I'm not trying to call out the other platforms. You know, I think this is
XYZ, that's perfectly fine, but I'm really trying to figure out your features and whatnot. What's the difference that makes you guys stand out versus everybody else? And, you know, being a new company, how many auditions do you think will be on your site? And what is the discoverability for people to actually click on your site? Or do you guys have search AIs that are going into Google? So it'll pop on the very, first thing when somebody types in.
okay. Yeah, okay, let's
There's a lot of
tail this
questions.
for just a second because that's a lot.
Yeah.
I'll let Nick address the searchability in the Google thing. On our end, I have a database of over 6,000 contacts that I know one way or another personally or by 1 or 2 degrees of separation that are all either hiring or agents or producers or filmmakers or animators. And our reach will go to them once we are populated. I do not want to reach out to them and say, hey, go put your project here. I have worked with these individuals personally over the last 25 years. Not all of them, but that doesn't guarantee anything because, thanks to COVID this past year, everybody in the film industry and otherwise, except for voiceover, you guys are going gangbusters. But those other industries where it's live or it's studio have been greatly affected because you can't come into contact with a person. They're starting to come and make some movement. But the hiring people out there, all we can do is beg, borrow, and plead and show our case that we've put together a really astute program that is teaches as it goes along as well. So, that's a feature's not in there yet, but it can go to, I only want to pay $200 a spot. And based on where they are doing their location and everything else, ours will pop up and it does a rate calculation against the GVAA rates. And so it will pop in and say that's a low rate, or it'll pop in and say that's a good rate. When that project comes to you, you get little color indicators that say this one's below, this one's good. You can make your own decision should you want to participate. But I think that's one of the features. It's kind of a rate generator thing, and that's becoming a smart one. We'll have a feedback loop where we can take where y'all think that that's a fair rate or not a fair rate, and we can determine based on a populace of lots of projects what a fair rate is. But we have built a lovely relationship with the guys over at GVAA, and so we're using their base, which they do a lot of research for that, as our beginning comparison. I want to go to your other question. How long has this been a concept? I started this in 1995. I was the first person to register casting.com. I have notes that go back to there. Before I ever worked as a talent agent, I was a project manager at a Fortune 10 company. And so I'm very, computer minded and those kind of things. Anyway, so I'm getting, my phone is getting messages. Whoever's texting me, I'm not seeing it at all, just so you know. Anyway, for concept, we've been working on this for 25 years, or at least 1995, 26 years. And I've worked with people in the industry on this. We web developers, blah, 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 until we hit 2017. And Nick and I said, let's go do this. So it's been in the works a long time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of course.
I can speak a little bit more into how we plan to expand and get those projects. the contacts that Liz is talking about, we're not just reaching out to people who are casting projects. We're not doing Google Ads that take you straight to a project page. We've built a lot of tools for talent, but we've also built a lot of tools for agents and for casting directors that make life easier for them. And we're going to be reaching out to them, doing, and like I will be spending a lot of time doing live demos with casting directors' offices and with other agency offices to get them on the platform. So it will be a little bit of time from the first day of release to where we get those users on board. But that's one of my personal like first areas of focus is making sure that the people from all parts of the industry are on board, because there's so much symbiosis between users of different accounts. We want to get everybody on there, as fast as possible. Also, I love your cat ears. Those are awesome.
Thanks. They disconnect, so you can put them on any studio monitoring headphones you want.
I gotta get me some of those.
They're on Amazon. They're, yeah. And I'll link it to you if you want.
Cool.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, guys. Really quick question, yes or no? Your rates, are there union rates or non-union? So we'll say, is it union rates? Yes or no?
We support that, yeah.
So that'll be included. Perfect, thanks.
Yes.
Marilla X is next.
Hello, lovely friends. I've already given you my money, so this point is possibly
awesome.
moot. I did it straight away. I was
you.
like, yes, please take my money. As I said in the chat, are you going to be focusing on North America, which is no skin off my nose because there are fewer people like me here, or are you going to be looking at the global market?
It's a worldwide platform.
We are looking at a global market. The units for the site are going to be in US dollars. That's from some legal stuff around GDPR, which we're supporting in terms of features, but we haven't gotten a lawyer to come in and double make sure that everything is GDPR. That's why we can't show stuff in British pounds, but it is worldwide. So we're hoping to have projects from Britain, from Canada, from Mexico, from a lot of other VO focused countries.
Hooray! I'm very excited. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Marilla. Andrew asked a question. I've just messaged you, Andrew, to see if your question was answered or not yet. But I'm scrolling up. People have put questions in the chat box and you guys are all chatting beautifully. If you scroll up, I will mention Dana Hurley posted at 11:32 that there's a site that answers a lot of these questions, and it's the Indiegogo.com project/CastVoices-B-Heard X. But anyway, scroll up to 11:23 or 11:32 in the chat and you can click on that link and have a look later. Who else? We had Derry Allen had a question, but I can't find it. So Derry, if you want to unmute yourself and ask it personally.
Sure. Hi, I'm Derry, and just thinking about some other casting sites that I have been on. I wanted to know if you are requiring any sort of vetting before someone decides to make a profile, or do you just accept anyone who's paying?
We accept anyone who's paying. Eventually we have where you can have your stuff vetted by your coworkers or other agents, but that's on the TV, as we addressed. We're not being an agent. We're not. We are being an opportunity for people to be seen, be heard. No, so we're not vetting. I mean, there are vetted sites out there. Bodoggle comes to mind, good on Armin. But he is a smaller thing altogether. And it's, I believe, anyway, so no, we're not doing that.
Perfect. Andrew, I didn't get a response. So Andrew Barker, if you want to unmute and ask the question directly, if you have another one.
Thanks, Bev. I have messaged back. I'm sorted, thanks. It was on the Indigo website. I was looking for a comparison between the Pro, Standard, and Basic.
Oh.
And Bill sorted me out.
Perfect. The link works. David Gilbert has a question. Go live, David.
Thanks for everything. Really loving this.
Turn your volume up.
Oops. Can you hear me now?
Better, thanks.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Thanks, Liz. This is so wonderful. My two questions, if I can find them, were A, how is the billing done? Is it done through the system, through like some kind of portal, or is it direct with the talent? And second is, who owns the relationship with the client? Is it CastVoices or is it the talent?
So the billing is done with the help of Stripe. So on our platform, we're using Stripe as the billing provider, just so we are not the ones storing your credit card information. We're leaving that. But
Nick, I think he's asking about project billing.
Project billing.
No,
Oh,
okay. So the project's done. Who invoices the client? Like, is it the talent or is it CastVoices? And then secondly, who actually owns a relationship with that client? Is it CastVoices or the talent?
So we are just the portal for you to get the work. Presently, you do your own invoicing. That is between you and the payee. We're not a pass through for money. So that's another reason we're transparent. So we're not a pass through. On our TV, we hope to someday be a pass through so that we can ensure you get paid. But right now, that is not a feature that we have installed in our MVP. And secondly, any relationship you have with anybody that you meet anywhere on CastVoices is between you and them. We do not own your relationships.
Cool. Thank you.
You bet.
Great. Thanks, David. I have a question for you. When you are on online casting sites, they always, and I don't know the way they all work, but they have X amount of auditions that they're accepted. Is that an option for your clients to say, I only want to hear 10, I only want to hear 50, they can hear unlimited? How does that work? So a job gets posted, I audition, it's cut off at a certain time. How does that work?
So we, say you're a casting director and you've created a project, you've created a role for the project, and now you're setting it out. If you choose to send it to talent or agents, both of those cases, you can set a submission limit for what you're willing to hear. So that is with agents too, you can pick specific agencies. When you're inviting talent directly on the platform, we will send out invites to all the talent that match, just bar none. So if someone only wants to hear 50 auditions, they can set a submission limit. And so if, say, they've hit 200 submissions before the deadline that they also set the project will close at, then if your talent, you may have gotten that invite, but this is a case where it's going to favor people who are really active on the platform. They're going to see it at the same time as you, but if they can get the audition out a little faster, the chances of getting it in and locking it are better. So if you try to submit, just after that submission limit has been hit, you still got invited to the project. You were a smidge too late, and the next project will come up. So casting directors do have some sanity bounds that they can check, so they're not getting 4,000 or 5,000 submissions on everything before they reach the deadline of the project.
And I'd like to use this to segue back to whether we vet or not. If someone is looking for vetted talent, they have the option to use the agencies. And that's the agents have vetted the talent. You still get invited on the platform if you match, right? Unless they have those, all three different opportunities to post it are independent of one another. You either invite everybody on the platform that matches your specs, or you go work through agents, or you invite directly. And people that are running those projects, they have an opportunity to establish rosters within CastVoices, just like they would establish rosters like they're doing now at agencies. They can put all that information in there, and if they get an audition, they can hit send just directly to you. So if they're inviting everybody on the platform, first in wins. And if they hear a bunch of bleh, they'll keep going, because it just depends on, who's Johnny on the spot and reacting when auditions come through.
Perfect. I have another question for you, and I would love to see this on on an online casting site, and I have yet to see it. And that is usage seems to be an issue that people don't seem to understand. Is it possible when a client is posting the job that has to be ticked off, even if they choose to say in perpetuity, but it has to be addressed because people post the job and they don't know anything about it?
Here you go, Nick.
So yes, when you are posting a project, we're gonna pepper you with questions. You have to give us the buy dates. You may not know the exact start date. You may not know the exact work dates because we have places for both of those, but you cannot put a project out there that doesn't tell people about the buy and what you expect it to be, even if it is in perpetuity, which it will kind of default to and warn you that you probably don't want to put this up in perpetuity if you want a whole lot of people to play. So yeah,
that's brilliant. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's been a sore spot for everybody, is that we're people don't know to put that in if it's not listed. So if the person posting the job is aware of it, you're educating both sides of the market. Now, somebody that doesn't want to speak, but they said, do you know if profiles will support video as well as audio samples of work to showcase?
Yes. Yeah. So this is one of those things that goes on the standard and pro subscriptions. It's one of the extras, but yes, we support. So you did a Super Bowl commercial and you want to like highlight the whole ad. People will remember like a really good Super Bowl commercial. You can go grab a link to it from YouTube or Vimeo. You can embed that ad in the site and you can title it however you want. So yeah, we do support video demos.
That's brilliant. I don't have any more questions in. I don't think so. If
I saw one that came by, and I'll address it. It's I'm not quick enough to read them, but do we vet the projects? We do not vet the projects, but we do highlight when a project meets expected rates through GVAA and otherwise. But projects are allowed to be posted, and you guys can set filters on some of the upgraded where if you don't want to see projects under like an X amount, then you won't be bothered with them. Nick, you want to kind of expand on that a little bit?
Yeah. So with projects, we are working with GVAA to get all their rates for all markets into the system. It is not going to be a day one feature, but it's going to be the first update that we put in. The reason for that, is just a human one, and it's that I can't type that fast. GVAA has a whole lot of information on their site, and it's going to take a little while for me to just get the keystrokes in. We also kind of are going to color code the projects, so free projects will kind of go down in their priority. They'll be marked as free. If they're in perpetuity, we're going to mark them as in perpetuity. So while we don't go and personally vet every project that is on the platform, we are working hard to try to give you guys all the hints that we can and all the information that we know just to have at your disposal, so that it's still ultimately the talent's choice if they want to play on a free project. Maybe it's a student film and you're feeling a bit generous. That's totally okay. So we're not going to block that from your site automatically, but we are working on getting you all the tools that you need to decide whether this one is actually going to pay you fairly for the effort that you're going to put in.
Thank you.
I have another question that bounces back, and I've scrolled down so I forget who asked it. But is there an option when you're putting in the usage to break down if there's lifts or whatever, instead of having someone not know that? Is that included in your questionnaire as they post the job?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Nick, are you going to jump in?
I saw.
Oh, no, I just couldn't hear all of the question. I'm
We're asking about lifts and edits and things like that. Was that information?
Oh, yeah.
Were they
No,
being
we have that in there. Yeah. So with all the projects, we give a full price breakdown that the casting directors fill out, and that includes spots and lifts.
Spots, lifts, locations, usage by role.
By word, like
By
it's
word.
pretty comprehensive.
And Jim, just real quick to answer your question about the GVAA database, it doesn't exactly work that way because they have a lot of verbiage with rates. We have to break that down even further. That says what regions are getting $200 a region. It's a quite an elaborate breakdown to match, because in all my years, as an example, in all my years of agenting, I don't think I saw the same project twice, because people, and so we're trying to educate the masses into kind of a standard way that this information is always going to be asked. And, you know, in an educational standpoint, that will help them know, because I can tell you the number of times that you're waiting through an email process to completely fill out a project because you know the questions should be answered. So we're trying to normalize that and standardize that as best we can.
Hey, Liz, Steve, oh, sorry about that. Go ahead, Beth.
No, go, Bobby, go.
I just saw a question in there. I want to make sure it's addressed. If Steve asks, if you pay prepay the standard subscription and want to upgrade during the year to Pro, can you do that?
Yes, you can upgrade at any time in your subscription, and if you upgrade your subscription, you'll be prorated. So if you upgrade midway through the month, we're only going to charge you for the new subscription for the remaining days in the month. So it goes both ways. You can downgrade your subscription, you can upgrade your subscription. We don't. It's not like an apartment in LA. We don't sign you on for a year lease that has draconian terms.
Cool. We hope that answered that, Steve, for you.
Andrew has another question. Andrew Barker.
Thanks, Bev. Guys, I'm actually sitting down in Joburg in South Africa, and you're talking about rates, and it would appear to be being built for the American market, from what I understand. I am new to this game, I confess. How would it work with international, you talk about going global, in terms of global rating, say for South Africa or for Europe or somewhere else with your rating system? How do they compare, for example, South African rates to American rates? How would it work?
That is a really good question, Andrew. And that is something that we don't have all of the answers for right now. To expand into South Africa and to really truly give it all of the same features that we've been able to give America just from the information that we have access to, we would need to kind of sit in and study that market for a while. And we're working with GVAA for the North American market just because there's so much information about the market already at our disposal here. It's a little harder to Google for over there. There are a couple of other fronts where we've planned support for a lot of different places. The way that we've set up internationalization right now, everything is in English, but we're going to be adding in different translations. Like Spanish will be our very next one. But the answer on the day of launch entry is that we won't know much about the South African market or other international markets, but that is very much as we would say on the TV, just meaning that's very much in the works and in our point of focus.
If I can follow up, Bev, then on the other side is what is the likely call for talent from South Africa to come into the American market?
Try that one if you want. I mean, that's more of an agent and what's going on in the marketplace these days. I'll answer it as if I were an agent considering you, okay? Because it's not something that a platform would do. If I were an agent considering you, in my prescient self, I think the more unique voices that get out there are going to work, because I no disrespect to the conversational read and no disrespect to Midway America, but those are overdone, in my opinion, or they're done a lot. And so I think the commercials that are standing out right now, or the voiceover work that's standing out right now, has an accent, or it has a twang, or it has, I'm not a voiceover, or it has some kind of uniqueness about it. And my friends, I encourage them, if they're allowed to do it, to pop a second one in there with just as the most character voice there is. And need I remind you of the Super Bowl commercial last year? It was some, up Northerners accents. Jim, that actor from The Office, was in it. And it's just a fantastic commercial. And I say these things are going to be important because we are all listening to things right now, and everything is talking to you, your phone, your thing. And I think unique voices, be it South African or Texas twang, have an opportunity to find our sweet spot because we stand out. So that's an ex-agent, well, maybe both, an ex-agent throwing out some advice.
Great. Thanks, Liz.
You bet.
Well, unmute yourself and speak up if you have a question. It is 11:57. We have taken up an hour of your time today. We all have to get back to work. Liz, Bobby, Nick,
I have an
Adam.
Indiegogo question, Bev.
Steve, go ahead.
If you have an Indiegogo account that's not a business account, and you sign up with that account, that doesn't impact how you're signing up for the site, correct?
Correct.
So I could sign up on that account for funding purposes, and then when you sign up on the site, use the business email.
Correct. We will.
Thank you.
Yes, we will email you via the emails that you use when you sign up on the Indiegogo, should you choose to do that.
Perfect. Okay, guys, do one of you want to put in the chat box really quickly the best email that if someone has a question following up on this? I don't want you to be inundated with text messages and email address, their messages and whatnot, but is there one person they could send the message to that maybe they didn't think to ask, or that someone seeing this after?
Well, what I would prefer you to do is to send those questions through the Indiegogo. There's a place there where you can hit frequently asked questions. And if you put it there, you're not going to be the only one that has that question, and we are required to respond. And so that gives us an opportunity to respond, and then everybody can see it. So please do it there.
That's perfect. Do you guys have anything else you want to add?
I just want to thank you, man. Thank you. This is just a terrific day. I'm so honored that all you guys took time out of your busy schedules to come join us in here. I hope that we've answered your questions. And if we have answered your questions, please do go to the Indiegogo. A big thanks to Adam and Nick and Bobby and Elizabeth for joining. You had the whole team here, and a huge thanks to Bev. Bev, you're just a dream human, and I really appreciate what you've done. And for us today, it was just, gosh almighty, it was just wonderful. And thank you.
As you know, I love you. And Bobby, thank you for doing this. I'm going to stop the recording now. And I just,